Hello everyone, Time to Grind here, and today I wanted to talk about Deep Rock Galactic. And Deep Rock Galactic is one of the best examples of an early access game done right. It's been in early access for about 2 years now, and the developers have added so much content to it and have listened to the community so well, and it has finally just recently come out of early access and fully launched. And I've played about 20 hours of the game in early access, and since I hadn't reviewed it before, I decided to play it for several more hours after it officially came out and make a review for you guys. So let's just jump into it. So Deep Rock Galactic is a co-op FPS game that has a very satisfying mix of gunplay and then kind of some mining and exploration in a 100% destructible and randomly generated environment. So right off the bat, there's 4 different classes. And first off, you have my favorite class, the Engineer. He can play sentry guns, and he has a platform gun to help, get to out of reach places. And just a disclaimer, my main is like the Engineer, and when my friends and I play the game, we all have specific classes we all play. So all of the gameplay you'll be seeing is from the Engineer, just because I only play the Engineer. So just, kind of disclaimer. You also have a Driller, and his main specialty is he has a massive drill that allows him to drill through anything, and he's like a really good crowd control person with like satchel charges and weapons like flamethrowers. There's also a Gunner, and he has some of the best firepower in the game. He has a zipline gun that can create zip lines that he and his teammates can use to traverse the areas. He also has a shield generator. Then you have the Scout, and he pretty much has like the best mobility in the game. He uses a grappling gun that allows him to pretty much go wherever he wants, and he has like these better flares that light up the area more than everybody else's. And what I really like about all of these classes is they all feel very well balanced, and they all have their uses both in terms of combat and in the mining and navigation side of things, because in this game the navigating, the environments and your ability to get to really hard to reach places and mine the materials and get what you need is just as important as being able to fight waves of enemies. And so all of the classes, have different pros and cons in terms of, traversing the area, but they also have different pros and cons with their weapons, so like the Driller is better at, just killing a bunch of people at once with things like the flamethrower, and then other people, like the Engineer has a grenade launcher that is really, really good for different types of things. And so the main gameplay consists of playing a wide variety of randomly generated missions. And your goal could be just a bunch of different things, whether it is just collecting a certain amount of a specific material, or it could be to, get several gems and bring them back to a base that kind of has sentries and stuff like that. It could be to like collect a certain amount of alien eggs, or kill a certain amount of bosses, or recover a bunch of like drones that have been like destroyed down there. And in each mission, they also have like secondary objectives that you can complete if you want for more rewards, and they can be things like just collecting fossils or collecting a certain amount of minerals or flowers or mushrooms or stuff like that, and it's always random. And the missions can be on a wide variety of different biomes, and that the entire level is also just randomly generated, like I've talked about a little bit before. So you will never play on the same map ever, and that's what keeps the exploration aspect of the game so awesome. And so when you drop in the game, you have to complete your objective and then make it out alive. And the constant switching of pacing in terms of like fighting enemies and, potentially running away from enemies and having like a huge swarm that you kind of have to bunker down for. And then more of, kind of a calmer period where you're platforming and exploring and mining different minerals. It just leads to a really awesome feeling because you never really get bored of one or the other. If you were only mining, if you play like the first difficulty and, you just breeze by it, it's not that fun, at least to me, because you don't have as much of the fighting. And then, so it has a really good balance of, constantly mixing in these, mining and exploration and platforming, and then, obviously the gunplay, and it just is really awesome. And out of the game, there is a ton of progression and a ton of things to work towards. So you keep leveling up your character, and you keep getting gold and the crafting materials that you get in the game, and you use this to constantly level up your weapons or your abilities or items, whatever you want to call them. And you can get like different perks on all of them, and you can mix and match the perks to kind of make your strategy completely different than anyone else, unless you're following like the same build as them or anything like that. And every class has 2 different primaries and 2 different secondaries, and they all have like different grenades as well, and that helps spice things up a ton. And there's also a ton of different active and passive skills that you can unlock on this like perk tree by completing a ton of different achievements. You get like stars, and you use those stars to get further on the perk tree and unlock better levels and just different skills, and that's really awesome. And another huge part about the progression is assignments. And assignments are a pretty much just series of missions that the game tells you need to complete in order to get something. And so that could be either to unlock your second primary or your second secondary, or you could if you want to unlock the mineral trading post, where you can kind of like trade the buy and sell different minerals that you are collecting or you need. You have to do an assignment to unlock that. Or if you want to unlock the like level 5 hardest difficulty, that's an assignment as well. Or even promotions, which I'll talk about in a second, that's an assignment as well. So everyone's constantly going to be having an assignment that they're working towards, and my friends and I would normally like take turns on whose mission we would play at a time, and sometimes they would overlap, and that would be pretty cool. So you can anytime you theoretically could just play whatever type of mission you wanted to, because there's this map that shows all these different missions, and it changes like every 30 minutes or so. But you normally want to just be doing what the assignment tells you, because you want to be working towards something. And so when you finally get to max level on your character, there's a promotion assignment, and once you complete it, you pay a bunch of gold and a bunch of materials, and you get to prestige. And this pretty much just brings you back to level 1. You keep all your progression and your materials, but it unlocks a bunch of stuff. You get another like active perk slot, and you can access deep dives, and you start getting the ability to find or craft like these overclocks, which are pretty much like additional perks for things like your weapons, and they normally have like really powerful side effects, but they'll have like drawbacks, and so that adds a whole nother layer of depth and stuff to the game. And then the deep dives are a set of seeded missions that pretty much like change every week, and you play through them all at once, and your health and everything carries through them all, and you get a bunch of rewards by doing them and completing them, and you compete with everybody else. And so there is also just a stupid amount of cosmetics that you can either get with the gold, or crafting with the materials, or like special events in the maps. Like there's these battery things that sometimes spawn, that if you find both batteries and you put them in a box, it'll unlock like a cool skin, and that's always fun. And so as you can tell, by me kind of just rambling off all the stuff that there is in this game, there is a stupid amount of content and a stupid amount of progression in this game to just have you keep playing the main game. And the main game in itself is so much fun that even if there wasn't all of this progression stuff, it would still be worth it. The core gameplay, it has an amazing art style. The music in actually the 1.0 launch, I'm hearing music that I hadn't heard before. There is some intense, and there's some bangers in that soundtrack, and it's so much fun to play. The entire destructible environment is really cool. The way that the missions show themselves, because it will constantly, that map will show you a ton of different missions, maybe 20-25 different missions that are randomly generating what biomes and what missions and secondary objectives, and then the map just being randomly generated. There's so much content to play in this game, and it's a lot of fun for to play with a bunch of friends, and you all have different classes and stuff like that. Like I'm the engineer. I've pretty much only played the engineer in my like 25 hours of content, so not only is there all that content, but if I were to switch characters, that's like another 25. I just prestiged in the engineer, and so that's like 25 hours in. So if I switch to another character, that's another 25 hours just to prestige. So there's so much progression to keep motivating you to play the main game. The main game is fun as hell, and you don't even really need motivation to play it, and I would just highly recommend it, especially with how much effort and content has gotten put in the game since it's been in early access. So I would definitely recommend it, and if you have played it in early access or since it came out, I would definitely love to know your thoughts on the game. Let me know in the comments down below. I love talking with you guys and try try to respond to everything. And if you enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like down below and subscribing to see more content. New videos come out about twice a week where I just review a wide variety of games. And if you have any recommendations for new games coming out, definitely let me know in the comments down below as well. And if you are having a great day today, I hope you continue having a great day. If you guys aren't having a great day, I hope you guys start having a great day. But either way, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. See you guys next time.